how to create more velocity as a catcher by using your lower half. Did you know that for every 1 mile an hour harder that you throw as a catcher, a baseball will travel 1.4667 feet per second faster to second base? The distance from home plate to second base is 127 feet 3 3/8 inches. To put this in perspective, and if we account for air resistance and arc of the baseball, if you can throw a baseball 87 miles an hour from the crouch, the baseball will take approximately 1.1 seconds to go from leaving your hand to hitting the middle infielder's glove. If you throw 77 miles an hour, the baseball will take 1.25 seconds. And if you throw 67 miles an hour, that baseball will take approximately 1.4 seconds to go from leaving your hand to hitting a middle infielder. Meaning that for every 10 miles an hour that you can throw harder, you'll trim anywhere from 0.12 to 0.2 off of your pop time. For most catchers who are watching this video, some great numbers that you can aim for are an exchange time between 0.65 and 0.7 and a velocity of around 77 miles an hour. That would put you right in the 1.9 to 2.0 pop time range. And if you can perform in this range consistently, with accuracy, and throw runners out in a game, that throw is just about good enough to play at any level of college baseball. All that pop time really is number one, your release time. The time that the baseball takes to go from hitting your glove to being released by your throwing hand. Plus, number two, velocity. This is how fast the baseball travels after leaving your hand. Think miles per hour. This means you need to find the balance between an efficient exchange and a solid velocity reading. In this video, I'm going to cover exactly how you can minimize your exchange time and maximize your velocity reading simply by using your lower half so that you can not only decrease your pop time, but throw harder and more consistently. And if we have not met yet, my name is Nick Zoris. I'm a former Division I catcher turned coach. Since my playing days have ended, I've been gunned at over 100 miles an hour on a pull down, over 94 miles an hour off a pitcher's mound.
Holy shit. 94.6.
And as a sophomore in high school, I was hitting 88 miles an hour from the crouch. I now work one-on-one with catchers of all ages, specifically on their throw, through a remote training program that I have developed. I've worked with guys like Evan Kim, who took his pop time from a 206 down to a 187.
Woo! That might be a PR.
I've worked with guys like John, Seth, and Jack, who are all able to break through their 2 flat barriers and see times in the high 1.8s and low 1.9s. The reason that all of those guys got the results that they did and why I've been able to consistently throw so hard even after my days of playing have ended is because of an understanding of the lower half, specifically how to create tension into the ground and apply that tension to a baseball. All of these principles I'm going to lay out in this video. The lower half is the first piece to fire during the throwing sequence. More specifically, this is everything that my lower half is doing before the ball makes contact with my glove. This will then set the stage for everything that happens after the ball hits my glove. This is where I see most amateur catchers either make or break their throws because they often don't have the raw arm strength to compensate for an inefficient lower half. The lower half is how we initiate momentum towards our target as the baseball is traveling towards us. A throw that is initiated with momentum will be faster than a throw initiated without momentum. It is extremely important to fire with proper timing. If we go too early, we will get overextended, and if we go too late, we will feel rushed. The lower half is the primary driver in creating direction towards our target. You probably hear the term direction all the time, and you might not know exactly what it is. The most simple way to understand what direction is it's essentially the line that our hips follow. The most efficient line for a catcher's hips to work would be a straight line increasing at about 20 degrees all the way through second base. Any deviation away from that line can be considered inefficient. When we watch a fundamentally sound catcher throw to second base, what most often happens is the hips will almost directly follow where the lead knee is taking them. A catcher with well-established direction in his throw will rarely deviate off of his line to second base. On the other hand, a catcher with poorly established direction will often see their hips deviate away from their line to second base, matching the angle of their lead knee. If my lead knee dips in, my hips have to go with. If my lead knee goes straight, my hips have to go with. The best way to understand and achieve proper direction with your throws is to slow down your drill work and exaggerate your movements until the movement movement pattern of clean direction is firmly ingrained. The lower half is responsible for creating force or energy with the ground that will later be transferred up the kinetic chain and into a baseball. Meaning the more tension that we can hold with the ground and the longer that we can hold that tension, the more energy that we're going to store and the more energy that is available to transfer up the chain and into a baseball. One of the biggest issues that I see with developing catchers is they have a tendency to push away from their connection with their backside, then having to take more time to get their back foot back underneath them to begin their separation. Any time that I spend compensating for inefficiencies in my throw is time that will be added to my release time and time behind the baseball that will be taken away, which results in decreased velocity. If you can manage to create direction and momentum with your lower half while staying connected to your backside, you'll be able to get your back foot planted sooner, give yourself more time to create separation, and you'll ultimately spend more time behind the baseball. And of course, if you're a catcher that wants to dive deeper into these concepts and work one-on-one through a proven program that's helped hundreds of catchers decrease their pop time, I'm always actively recruiting catchers to join my Drop Your Pop Time program. If that is something that would be of interest to you, the best way to get in contact with me is to follow me on Instagram, shoot me a message with the word pop time, and let me know which video you came from. This is going to open up a conversation between you and my team where we'll ask you a few questions about your throw to understand what you're struggling with, understand what your goals are, and make sure that I can help you. Spots are capped at 12 athletes a month, so if this is something that interests you, I suggest you act fast.